Compassion Center. Before I start, Christine may be the only person on this panel that has a little bit of knowledge as to the history of Betsy Production Company. It was started as C.G. Davis Drilling and Production Company by my father, C.G. Betsy Davis, in 1939. He moved to Drilling Rig, Illinois, came back to Arkansas in 1945. We've been at the same location on East Main since 1956. This is our 73rd year to be in the oil and gas business. We have drilled three petted oil wells on the south side of town that are productive or will soon be all three productive. One is the boring number 1 well, which is located just south of Abilities Unlimited. The Magnolia Development well is at the end of Commerce Street. Our Curry number 1 well is located on South Jackson, just below Parrott and Vickers' yard, just immediately across the street from Mark's Funeral Home. Any of the panel or any of the planning commission that wishes to talk to me or make an appointment with me, I will be more than happy at my convenience and your convenience to take you on a field trip, take you to each one of the wells, explain what we're doing and why we're doing it. The well that we hope to drill, in the back of your booklet, there is a location plat that was staked by Land Point. That location is in the southeast corner of the Compassion Foundation property. We have talked to Compassion Foundation people. They're okay with it. They've given us their approval. The wells will be drilled to a depth of approximately 4,600 feet. It'll be completed in the Pettit formation at a depth of about 4,425 feet. We would propose access to this location by moving in a drilling rig that would come down East Main from the east to the intersection of East Main and Frederick. You would make a left on Frederick and go down, make a right onto MacArthur. MacArthur makes a cul-de-sac at the end. We can obtain access off of the end of that cul-de-sac onto the Compassion Foundation property and to access our well location. The location will be fenced with a 12-foot privacy fence. The location initially will take up about 1 1/4 acres. When the location well is finished, if it is productive and we close in what we would use for a reserve pit, we would be down to around 3/4 of an acre, possibly as little as 6/10 of an acre. The location will be lighted. It will have at least 1 surveillance camera. It will be gated and locked. The drilling operation itself will take anywhere from 9 to 12 days. It will be a 24-hour-a-day operation, and at times it will be a little bit noisy. I don't think excessively noisy. We did not have any complaints when we drilled the well across from Mark's Funeral Home, which is not quite as residential as the area by the Compassion Foundation, but it is fairly residential. We didn't receive any complaints at our home or at the office. I don't think Mayor Van received any complaints. If we make a well, the first part of the completion phase would take 3 to 4 days. The second part of the completion phase would take about 2 days. The well would be placed on a pump. The pump would be on electricity. You wouldn't have any noise as if you would have from a gasoline engine once the well is in place and producing. Did some economics on the back page for you. There would be anywhere from 50 to 75 people would work on this well from start to finish. A big majority of them would be from Columbia County. If we were successful, the well would probably, by our engineering, would make somewhere between 62,000 and 79,000 barrels of oil at a royalty of approximately 17% and a price of $95 per barrel, and at a 35 barrel a day production rate. The royalty owners in that part of town and others would receive an income each month of a little over $17,000. And I believe if my calculation is correct, severance tax over the life of the well would be approximately $300,000. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. Surface pipe will be set below the spar of sand, cemented back to the surface.
Do you have any mineral rights? There's your opportunity.
He has some. We have bought some leases from the city.
Tear down that leaky jailhouse and City Hall and put a drilling rig right there.
All depends on where this reservoir goes. Don't know if it goes to the jailhouse. But I listened to some of the concerns on the previous matter. Right along the east side and the south side of the Compassion Foundation property, there is a pretty good green belt that would help screen this well from those residents, plus the fence. The only thing you'll see above the fence, once the drilling rig is gone, is you will see the top of the heater treater, you'll see the top of the tank battery. Headed oil wells typically make very little, if any, salt water. So excessive saltwater production would not be a problem. If the well did make any water, that well would be trucked to a permitted saltwater disposal well. Once on production, we would have a pumper that would be in there to the well at least once a day, maybe twice a day. Oil initially at a 35-barrel a day rate would be hauled away from the well by tanker about approximately once every 5 days. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. Mr. Chad White, who I work with, is a geologist here in Magnolia. Anything I can't answer, I'll try to let him answer.
There will be some on-site tankers, I think.
Yes, sir. The equipment with, if we make a well, the equipment with the inside of the fence will be two 210-barrel oil tanks, 4x20 heater treater. I understand that you're an engineer with Murphy, so you'll know what I'm fixing to say.
I'm a computer guy, I don't know anything.
Okay, well, I was misinformed, but you will have either a 114,000-pound pumping unit or a 160,000-pound pumping unit that most likely will be on a time clock, which would mean even though it's there 24 hours a day, based upon the productivity of the reservoir, it might pump 24 hours a day, it might pump only 11 hours a day like our boring well. The boring well makes as much in 11 hours as it will in 24 hours. And that's a function of the permeability of the reservoir.
Like, what's the noise after you're done?
The noise after we're done, Christine, is next to nothing. You've got a pumping unit that's on electricity. I'll be more than happy to take you to the boring well or to the Magnolia development well and let you hear what it sounds like. The boring well has been on pump since December of '09. We have not had a workover rig on that well yet. We're going in about 2.5 years. If we had a tubing leak or the rods parted or something like that, either Reliance or TSWS would be the servicing company. I don't anticipate taking more than 2 days to repair a well, and that's all in daylight hours. The only thing that is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is the drilling phase.
And what would be the path that this tanker truck has to take to get down to that well once a week, all the crude oil?
The tanker truck would come down East Main, make a left on the Frederick. We look and we can extend the culvert and extend a little bit there on MacArthur, go to the end of MacArthur, go through a lock gate onto the foundation property to the well and back out by the same road.
And you said the neighbors are fine with this?
The Compassion Foundation neighbors are fine with it. We've encroached a little bit in oil and gas leases. Mr. Bell will know it's a requirement to be at least 200 feet from the dwelling. We'll be 191 feet from the Compassion Foundation building. They're fine with that. We will be more than 200 or any other occupied well. Let me put it that way.
I think if you had a worst case scenario on the water, the salt water to dispose of, how many trucks an hour, day, a week, a month, would that add to the traffic flow going up and down that road?
If, given where we are, I would think that if a well made much more than an equal amount, say you made 35 barrels of oil and 35 barrels of water, I think it would be a little bit counterproductive to continue to produce that well and truck that water away from there. It becomes too great of an expense. But neither one of the two wells we have has ever made the first drop of water. The Curry well is 60 feet up structure from our lowest well, which is the Magnolia development well. So if there is any water, we're moving further from it. We don't know that this reservoir extends to the Compassion Foundation property, but if it does, and the dip rate continues at the geological dip rate we have now, we would be another 60 feet up structure from where the nearest water possibly could be. So then you're 120 feet away from any water within that reservoir.
Other questions? We assume we'll see you next month?
You will, and
Okay.
everybody, we're at 707 East Main, 234-5858.
I think it would behoove us really to visit with you if you have questions, or visit one of the sites, really see what's some of the physical sizes of these units that he's speaking about. So again, Ms. Christine, I welcome,
We would be happy to show you the two that we already have that are completed. The Curry site has a taller fence, the gate's not finished, it'll have a better gate. The reserve pit's just been closed, so the fence is not closed up on the reserve pit side. I might add that in the well we intend to drill by the Compassion Foundation, we will not really have a reserve pit per se. We will take a track hole and dig a rectangular pit, and then we will set an open top steel tank down inside of that. The waste drilling mud will be jetted into that tank. We have a site that we can take vacuum trucks and haul that drilling mud away to dispose of at another site. So at the end of the day, you merely lift that open top tank out, level it back up without having to trench and bury any drilling mud.
I wonder if we should have David and Mike coordinate and just say, it's not really fair for each one of us to call Mike and drag him out to look at something, but I would certainly like to see one of the wells, and maybe they could coordinate and just say, Mr. Davis and I are gonna be here on, most of us probably after 5 o'clock would be good, between 5 and 6 at such and such a time, and just as many as can get out there at that time, then that's our chance.
That's your pleasure.
that's a good thought. Day one,